Hello, Professor, and the rest of the class. I don't know if you can see me, or the poster, but I'm just gonna get right into the topic. My topic is the treatment of tourists in Egypt today. Um, particularly, tourists don't really think, or from deep research, tourists don't really appreciate their treatment in Egypt. They do appreciate the country, but not the treatment, and this poster should portray so. First of all, I'm just gonna go through my design. Um, I use this background. Um, because it shows the pyramids and what people usually come for. And this background is just it's a transition between this background and this background. This background, some people might mistake it for the poor, for the separation of the poor and the rich. However, this is a background that explains that when people come here for this, they truly experience this background. Um, I first introduced it with a question like, "What is tourism in Egypt like?" Um, this is sort of a rhetorical question because people already know what it's like. They know the country is amazing, but they don't. They already know that the treatment is bad. Every certainly everyone that wants to make a profit will mistreat a tourist, either make him pay more than what he is supposed to pay, just for the fact that he's here. Um, I'd like to get into this kind of deeply because I use the yellow highlight to the words that say Egypt has proved their use of tourists as objects to profit from. Um, it's not really clear, but I did this on purpose. Why, you might ask? Because in Egypt, usually when people try to uncover a true fact that is against the country, Egyptians or Egypt in general will try to cover it and will punish anyone who does so. So I made it unclear that Egypt has proved their use of tourists as objects to profit from, and that's why I used a yellow background so the words wouldn't really show. And to end it, I said, "How do you feel now that you're done with that tour, with the tour?" And I don't mean to. First of all, it's. I mean, it has two meanings. First of all, it's after you read this and saw that it was unclear, proving the situation of the country. And how do you feel of Egypt right now and how they treat tourists? And another approach to this is, how do you feel now that you're done with the tour? Is when people ask after a tourist is done with what he toured or something, uh, 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 the person that gave them the tour might ask them, "How do you feel now that you're done with the tour?" expecting a good answer. Even if it was a bad tour, they would still expect a good answer, and that shows a lot about the people, the guide and tour guidance and all that in Egypt. Uh, the whole poster, I think it's pretty clear what the poster is trying to say from the transition of what you were expecting to see, and just a transition background, the way it flows into this background, which is a not depressing, but a harsh background. Because people seem to think that it will be a very good experience, but I'm not gonna say Egyptians, but tour guidance makes it very bad if they are not planned. Um, I also cited some or one website. and it was actually feedback from a tourist that came here to Egypt. I'm not sure when, but she came to Egypt and was very mistreated. She she got sort of harassed, not really harassed, but sort of harassed. Um, they were getting ripped off. They were lied to, and they kept urging tourists to do something they wouldn't want to. And this really shows how tourist treatment is in Egypt. Um, I think this ends my presentation. I hope you like it, Professor. Thank you.